Hey guys, my name is Art. I call myself the Enlightened One because I like to look at things in a different way. And by that different glimpse of what I look at, gives me a brand new light. Okay. Brand new way of looking at things. This is Thursday night, 10:30. Last night I got home. I was so tired, I went straight to sleep. Now the funny thing is that it seems that ever since I've been working from home, I've been super tired. I'm not exactly sure it's because I'm not going to the gym, not getting that exercise I do. Thing is that I could do other things, but I decided, to me, I need a gym to work out. I need a gym to exercise. If I had my own weights or something like that, then that'd be a totally different scenario. But I don't. But that's fine. You work with what you got, or you don't work at all. And so I decided not to work at all. Plus, ever since I've been home from working from home, my blood glucose levels has been off the charts great. I don't have too many high spikes like I used to, and because I don't have a lot of stress. A lot of the stress is gone. Since I don't have a lot of stress, my blood glucose levels drop down. So, me with my, I don't have to pump up a lot of insulin all the time. So that's a good thing. All right. The only problem is it's allergy season, so I'm kind of like, yeah, whatever. So what is going on? Well, here's the thing. I've After I got off of work, listened to some podcasts. One of the podcasts I was listening to off of iTunes is the Steve Austin show. If you don't know who Steve Austin is, he used to be a famous pro wrestler. And so after he talks about and so if you like wrestling, listen to his podcast off of iTunes. And I heard Jared, so I try to listen to podcasts so that way, especially when I'm working from home, I pop that in, usually up to an hour, so I can usually get an hour of stimulation instead of just me, whatever. But anyway, I want to talk to you about some books I read today. Now, what happened was, you know, I read some comic books today, and what happened is that my man Dynamite Kid 100, he downloaded the Marvel Unlimited app, which I used to have, which I'm going to resubscribe to it too. That way you can read any kind, almost Marvel comic books from like the 60s to like not like six up to 6 months up to like last year. New comics come up, I think, like 2 or 3 months, up to 6 months before they show up on the app. So that's fine for like $70 a year. You can read almost any comic you want. The only problem is I'm so used to reading it as a book instead of a digital, which I'm recording this off my tablet. I read it off, and I had it on my tablet. But I've just been too lazy to reinstate it. So what happens in the '90s? Everybody wanted to reinvent the wheel of a lot of characters. So this is one of the characters I loved back in the '90s. I don't like him too much now, but one of my favorite characters was Captain America. And what happened in the early '90s? They decided to revamp his origin story, give it a new twist, and to tell you the truth, it kind of worked. So this is right here, Captain America: Sentinel of Liberty. So basically, it retells the Captain American origin story. Now, true, the Captain America origin story was told about 4 or 5 times since the '60s, but this one is a little bit more interesting. Um, each of these was like about $5 a piece back in the early '90s, which is unheard of, but this kind of format was pretty good. This is issue 1. Issue 2. Issue 3. and of course the last one, issue 4. And of course it has the. Of course it also has the big bad, the Red Skull. Basically, it retells the whole Captain America origin story. And I like this, and that's one of the reasons why I tried my best to keep up with this, and I found it recently in one of my stacks of books. So I decided to read it since we're on quarantine slash or stay at home, stay safe slash executive order to stay your ass at home except for emergencies or if you're essential. If you're in one of those kind of states, do you know what I'm talking about? If not, you're free to go do whatever you want. Damn science seasons. Where's my tissue at? Oh, it's right up there. Okay. Wow. It's a good book. It's a good read. If it's Captain America Sentinel of Liberty. It's a very good story. It's one of those stories where I get sucked in emotionally too. Sometimes if the story is really good, the guy who wrote is Fabian Naces something like that. It sucked me in, and I read these books for the first time in 20 some years. The first time I only read this like twice in the 90s, and this is the first time I read this in like 20, almost 30 years, and I felt like I just bought this off the damn shelves. If you want these versions, it probably costs you some, I don't know. You probably can get all 4 of them for less than $50, maybe. I don't know. I didn't even look. I should have looked before I even did this stupid video, but hey, oh well. Live you learn. Gotta get enlightened. But or if you have the Marvel Unlimited, you could just pull this. You can pull this up and you can read it yourself. So that's fine. Another thing is that yeah, okay. Sometimes we all, especially me or anybody on YouTube, sometimes we say some stuff, and sometimes the stuff don't go over very well. So I'm going to tell you something. What happened was one of my boys, Dynamite Kid 100, he did a video about he had an incident where someone accused him of stealing. You know, he goes in Walmart, and I've seen this myself for myself. Because at first I'm like, no, they don't do that kind of stuff. What happened is that there's a water dispenser where you take a jug, put it in the dispenser, it dispenses water, you pay for it at the front. So he walked out. He did that. He did it. Doesn't mean any container. I guess they don't mention what kind of container. So he filled up about 2 or 3 gallon, like 2-gallon jugs or something like that, or gallon containers of water. Went and paid for it. It was like 30 cents or something. Okay. If that was the case, sheesh. My mom was giving me some old jugs and just Walmart water. But the manager stopped him and basically tried to go after him for not paying for the water, even though the water's on his receipt. Now the thing is, after he did this, we talked before I even saw the video. I didn't see the video till after we talked about it, and I basically come out and said the guy was probably just an asshole. Okay, trying to put a stamp on his worker to show that he's the boss. We all know people like that who think they're hot shit, and they think they're the hot shit boss, so they're gonna try to throw their weight around. So I'm thinking to myself that this person probably went to his workers, did this in front of his workers to show them that he's the boss, even though the workers see this guy come in every day and do the exact same thing every day, so they know what this guy's habit is. And all they had to do is say, can I see your receipt? Basically, from what I gathered, the manager went to my friend and says, you didn't pay for that water. It says, can I see your receipt? So most managers will say, can I see your receipt? Okay, and then they look and say, okay, fine, and go off. And then you wouldn't even say anything. No one would even be the wiser. But by him confronting that, so what happened was, one of his replies in this video was something like, "You think I act like an African American?" Okay. Now, and then what happened was recently, about an hour and a half ago, somebody responded to that video. And so far, that response is still on that video. This guy replied, "I didn't act like an African American. I acted like a man. Like, really." Now, the thing is that I understand, my friend, I understand what he was talking about. Most other people, if they see that, they can understand what he was talking about. I guess this guy got offended. And that's why I say sometimes when we say things, we say things because that's what's on our mind and that's how we come out about saying. But sometimes what we say is not exactly what we meant. So the thing is that this guy got accused of stealing. So he says, my friend says something to the fact, "You think I didn't act like an African American." Now what that means is his response. Now what he meant was, you know how some people get loud, obnoxious, and ignorant. What he meant, that's what he meant. He didn't do that. He basically told him, "You see this, in a very stern but very solemn voice." Now this guy took that and just went off the rails. And so I responded back to, I responded under, and the thing is, this is something under my response. I said, never, and I said basically before him, always stand up for yourself. And then here he put his response underneath my response. So I'm like, dude, if you're going to respond to what I'm responding, plus the thing is on YouTube, my face is my face. I don't have an avatar. I show my face. I don't hide behind avatars. If you know what an avatar is, it's like a picture or some symbol of who you are. So that way no one knows who you look like. There's nothing wrong with that, but that's fine. So I put that on and say, you probably didn't understand what he meant. That's my reply. So the thing is, this guy might reply to my reply, whatever, however you see it go, in the next couple hours or to maybe later on. I'm pretty sure my friend hasn't even seen it yet. But once he does, he might say something, he might not, who knows. But I just want to say, number one, this guy, I know who this guy is. I know what he's about. And he's not what you think. And a lot of times, sometimes we all look at it and say, what? Like some people say, why? Oh, well, Art, you don't act black. And sometimes that unnerves me. Because, and I know exactly what he's saying, but the thing is, like I said, kind of being enlightened here. When somebody comes to me and says, well, Art, you don't act black. Now, here's the thing. I am black. I may not think like a typical black person, because how do you tell how people actually think? Are you talking about I don't act ghetto? Is that what you mean? I'm supposed to act ghetto? If that's what you mean, then no, I don't act that way. In a situation, if I be calm, cool, and collective and respond that way instead of getting hyper and and all this other stuff, then that's a totally different story. Simple as that. But sometimes, I understand some people get angry. Some people get angry at my words. Not lately, but some people do get angry. Just remember, when we put ourselves on this platform, we put ourselves out there. And this guy who responded, there's no picture. It's just like an avatar. So he could be a troll, or he could actually be someone very serious and he didn't really understand it. Now, after he responds to my stuff, then that way I could open up dialogue. This is what he meant. Watch the video again, and then think about what he said. Now, we all have seen some people getting ignorant, loud and obnoxious because they think that that's their best defense. But in actuality, it just makes them look kind of crazy. So if I say, oh, I'm glad I didn't act black in that situation, it's because of the fact that, one, I didn't act like I was loud and obnoxious and crazy. Okay. Now, like I said, you might not agree with my viewpoint on that, and that's fine. But some of you might, and that's also fine too. So with that, I want to keep going for the rest of the night. It's almost 11 o'clock. Yeah, as you can tell, I'm tired. And my boy wants me to see a video today, and so I'm like, I better watch this video today before tomorrow comes up. So talk to you guys later.